a story from something you forgot along the way. And today's story is number 56, page 154. Savoring Jingoro's sculpture, skill and wisdom. One of the greatest sculptors of all time was Hidari, left-handed Jingoro, who carved the famous sleeping cat at the Toshogu Shrine in Nikko, the ascending dragon at Ueno's Kanneji Temple, and many other famous works. His contemporary Kikuchi Togoro was ranked his equal in those days. Competing for top honors is only natural. In baseball, chess, and many other fields, spectators enjoy watching competitions and rooting for their favorite team or player. Gradually, competition between factions favoring each of the two artists heated to fever pitch. People began to clamor for the situation to be resolved. Two sculptors can't both be the best. Let's settle it once and for all. When the matter came to the attention of the shogun, he summoned the two men and said, "Let us see which of you is the greatest. Carve me a mouse on the spot." The two sculptors set straight to work and finished in no time. Both carvings were so lifelike that they seemed about to squeak and run off. It was impossible to choose between them. The shogun was stumped until a retainer with a quick mind whispered in his ear, "Cats are experts on mice. Why not let a cat do the deciding?" The shogun gave a nod of approval. Without further ado, the two carved mice were set in different places in the room, and a cat was released to go after them. It went straight to Togoro's mouse. Everyone thought the contest was over. But in the next moment, the cat dropped that one, sprang upon Jingoro's mouse instead, and carried it off in its mouth. The rafters rang with applause and shouts of admiration for the masterful achievement. Togoro's mouse was carved out of wood, Jingoro's out of katsuobushi, a dried fish product sold in wood-like blocks. Skill is not the only mark of a true master. The wisdom to adapt to circumstances is also required. Okay, so this is today's story about the importance of having not just skill but also wisdom. So basically, what happened was the two sculptors, they were sculpting their work out of materials to make a mouse, but one of them, Jingoro, he used a material which is called katsuobushi, which is a dried fish product sold in wood-like blocks. So Japanese use dry fish. It's in a form of a block, and then they shave it, just like we shave like cheese to put on salad on pizza. They shave that onto their miso soup or a lot of dishes that they have. So yeah, the ability to see ahead. So if they were competing, and maybe the greatest sculptor of all time, the guy with the name of Jingoro, so he was extremely famous, and he knew that his competitor was as skillful. The other guy was very skillful too. So somehow he had the wisdom to see ahead. Yeah, so wisdom in Buddhism is it's defined as the faculty of seeing ahead. If I do this, what are the consequences? If I don't say this now, is it better, or is it better if I say this now? Even in human relationships, if you as we listen to Buddhism more and more, we gain more wisdom. We can become better at predicting the consequences of the causes, the seeds we plant. Because we pay attention, we are constantly trying to do self-reflection, the fifth paramita. So many times we say things to people and we mess up and things get worse. The tension is created and builds up. We regret that we said that. It was thoughtless. We lowered our guard at that moment. We were not vigilant. We were mindless instead of mindful. And as a Buddhist, our daily practice is self-reflection. So we look back and why did this happen? So the more we engage in this practice or training of the mind, the more we can see the cause and effect relationship in our life. Oh, because I said this, this thing happened, and so on and so forth. So in this way, wisdom will be one of the byproducts of going forward on the spiritual path. And yeah, so in this way we can make better choices that don't bring us regret but kind of fulfillment or gratitude. So that's why skill is not the only mark of a true master. The wisdom to adapt to circumstances is also required. It's like what Yuichi also was explaining about the quality of developing flexibility. We need to be able to be flexible enough to adapt to circumstances because those circumstances constantly change. So we need to be very quick to change how we think, how we see things, and come up with solutions on the spot right away. And the workings of the mind, because we are practicing mindfulness every day, we become more and more aware of the workings of our mind, how the thought moves from one thought to the next, constantly moving like an egg on a tray that you're trying to walk the tray while holding the tray in your hand. The egg keeps rolling here and there. So the thoughts are always changing, and this awareness and mindfulness of it will help us practice wisdom to a whole different dimension. So good job everyone for being here. Let's work on our practices, and yeah, good job for being here. And today is what, Saturday? No, Sunday. So we're gonna have the advanced member and 10:30 a.m.